Waiting for this to go live. Give me a second here. Bear with. La 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 la. There. All right. Don't need no background music playing. Sorry about that. That was Grimes. It's only for a couple seconds, so don't sue me. Um. Ah, not the best camera. Eventually, I want to get a better camera. I don't need these anymore. Um, eventually, I might stream with this eventually, but I want to get a good camera. I want to get like a 5D Mark III or whatever, set it up here in the side and use that for a camera. But for now, I'm using the webcam. It's a 1080p one. I'd like to get a 4K one. But hi, I'm back. I've returned. Not sure how much, but I wanted to do this particular stream. Uh, Give me a sec here. I got my iced coffee. I got the mic set up. Trying to get it in shot. I want to get everything more. I want to get a mic arm where I can put it closer to me, so I don't have to boom it up as much, turn it up as much. It'd be able to be closer to me. So, but I can't afford a mic arm right now. All right, everybody. What are we doing here today? Now, I'm going to be looking around. I'm going to be reading, but I had to do a video on this today. I wasn't going to do anything about this, but I had to, in particular. I'm not sure how this is coming across. I have it playing. I don't know if that's 1080p. Yeah, it's about 1080. It's not the crispest picture. I'm looking at it here, but it's the best I can do for what I got. Let me try this for a sec here. Does that turn out the backlighting a little bit better? I don't know. Give me a moment. Get my earrings are underneath my thing. I gotta get a second earring under this one. Not much different. Anyway, there's the title back there. You can see it. It's the world title here. Actually, here, let's leave that on. You can see the title. There, title right here. It's a wrestling thing. I'm hoping to bring more people on. Maybe we can have multiple screens and talking about wrestling. I eventually might do a wrestling podcast, but there's some great podcasts out there. Now, yes, you have the famous podcasts like Chris Jericho, which I enjoy. Austin were some of the first. The first was Colt Cabana, one of the earliest ones. I used to love his stuff. He doesn't really do much anymore on that. But nowadays, you got like Undertaker, Cody Rhodes, stuff like that. The big names. They're fun to watch and all, but they're all famous people. You want a good wrestling podcast? Follow Smart Wrestling Podcast. The Smart Wrestling Fan, the host, Joe Negron. There's Larry, Mr. Mutant Larry. They've had many people in the past. Go back and you can subscribe to their past shows as well. To the Australian diabetic guy. Oh gosh, I forget his name now. He went on to do sports podcasts. There's the original two hosts with Joe and the other guy. I've been a fan since the early 60 shows. They're over 1,000 shows now. So check them out. They review weekly wrestling podcasts. They're Smart Wrestling Fan Podcast. Amazing show. So he's an inspiration to me. But mine's going to be talking more about what's going on in the industry itself. And I have some write-ups here. Eventually I'll get this set up better. So, but I'm going to be reading. Now, anybody knows anything about WWE it's now owned by TKO. Iced coffee. And my take on this is they've done a horrible job. They don't know anything about pro wrestling. They're trying to run it like a sports team or something, or a sports company. And let's be honest, pro wrestling is entertainment and sport. Now, there's a sport aspect. You've got to be an athlete to do it, or it's predetermined. For the most part, there's sometimes, like, if you're a new guy, or you're two lesser-known guys, go out. You guys decide the winner when you get out there. You know, just go with the audience, yada, yada. They used to do that sometimes. I don't know if they do that now with the lesser names, but whatever. But, yeah, predetermined, scripted. Fake? No. I hate that term fake. I've been in a ring. I trained. It hurts. It's not fake. So, I'm a person that's been following wrestling since I was, early 80s. I would dig out my magazines. I have like Pro Wrestling Illustrated magazines, like from 83, 84, with Dusty Rhodes on the cover full of blood and Powers of Pain. Before they were, it was Hawk and Animal, the Road Warriors, and then the Barbarian and Warlord were taking them out in NWA. But then they sound them, turning them into Powers of Pain, WWF at the time. So many old wrestling makes. So, but oh, excuse me. And I went on to in '99 train at the Heart Camp in Calgary for about a month. Then I came back for a woman. Long story. She liked another guy. Wasn't meant to be, but I followed my heart. I've always done that. I ended up being a matchmaker for a company locally for about a year and a half. That was a fun experience. Didn't get paid for it. It was fun. We used to have meetings at a coffee shop, having like iced coffee or any whatever, while discussing what this month's show is going to be. I came up with some design ideas. They never used any of them, but they used some of the match ideas. I had a few things done. And then I was a booker for a second company, which lasted like 3 months, and that's it, if that even, which sucked because I was really hoping to get into the booking team, really planning out, but they didn't last. So I kind of left the wrestling industry after that. But I've been following wrestling since the mid to early 80s. Been following it from WWF, NWA, and on. I love professional wrestling. I've been called a savant. I have a weird knowledge of weird stuff. Not dates, but like things. I can call backs and stuff. I love professional wrestling. Always have. Going into the future, we're just going to talk about now. WWE under TKO is horrible. The way they're managing their roster, the way they're managing the company, no more house shows, really, which a lot of the talent does not like. Because a lot of the veterans say, like Cody Rhodes and many others say, that was the way to develop your talent. To be able to go on the road, do practice matches, do this and that. And one, it develops camaraderie between the rosters, and it also develops talent. Because when you have to do TV, you gotta plan, and you don't really have a chance to learn per se. Whereas on the house shows, you could learn, you could practice, try this, try that, have fun. Excuse me, I'm exhausted. Been a while since I've done any talking, and this actually takes energy. But anyway, NXT is the developmental part. So recently, there's been some cuts. Now I understand every year you're gonna have cuts. Some of them make no sense, though. Some of them are requested by the teams themselves, the people themselves. There's teams, well, I'll go into that. There's a list of teams that are let go, so their tag division is dying. But here, let's go on the NXT. I don't know most of these names, but I know of them. Like Luca Crucifino. Don't know who that is. Malik Blade, I've heard of. Trill London, I think I've heard of. Serena Linton, Tyra Steele. She's the one who won the LNG one. Well, that was a shock. Had potential. Chris Island, Tariq Igui, and Tyson DuPont. So I don't know some of those names except for Tyra May, because I watch LGN, LNG, whatever you call it. That's that reality show where people compete. But yeah, so then we go on to the main roster, Fireys. This one shocked me, the Wyatt Six. And they never did bring in Alexa to be part of that group, which I thought they were going to, because an ode to Bray. She was a big part of Bray's career, and they should have. But whatever, it was Uncle Howdy, was Bo Dallas, which is his actual brother. And Nikki Cross was brought in, which they never let Nikki wrestle any independent matches as women, against women. I was stupid. Nikki Cross is so talented. They just had her as a back object doing attacking stuff side. No, you should have gave her matches. So that was stupid. We have Dexter Lumis, who I've been following since he was Sam Shaw in TNA. That guy's good. He plays the Dexter character, the murderous character. He's really good. Very underrated. Very good wrestler, too. Joe Gacy, another talented worker. They all had the darker characters. And then they brought in Eric Rowan, one of the originals that worked with Bray and Brody and what have you. Luke Harper, usually. And, of course, Bray and Luke have passed on since then. I have their figures on my wall. I was a big fan of them. And I loved the original Wyatts. I couldn't find a Rowan figure. Maybe someday. But, yeah, so the Wyatt Six let go. I was really shocked. And it turns out they have a thing against dark characters. Somebody in TKO. That's stupid. So you're saying Undertaker wouldn't have gone over in modern time? They're trying to play it on as like, I'm sorry about the quotations a lot, but sports. But it's not just sports. It's entertainment. Sometimes dark characters help get over. What, Randy Orton's going to be left to the side because he's kind of dark. Like this thing of not liking dark character. That's why they got supposedly let go of one of the other guys I'm going to mention. That's Aleister Black. What a stupid thing that was. Like Aleister Black is so talented. He's an MMA guy or has some MMA fighting styles. The guy's believable. So talented. Good storyteller too. Good mind for the business. Let him go. And originally, instead of in going into WrestleMania, I heard he was supposed to be the guy in Randy Orton's ear instead of idiot. And I don't know Pac McAfee in real life. Maybe he's a great guy. I'm not downing on him, but his character in wrestling, I can't stand him. Never liked him on the mic and everything. Even on the announce table, I found he was trying to get himself over instead of the wrestlers. I didn't like that. Is he a good talker? More power to him. He's a multimillionaire doing radio. I wish I had his money. And I don't dislike the guy as a human. I just didn't like him as a character in the industry. So, but more power to him. He lived out his dream. I would love to do that. So good on him. But it didn't fit in to this Randy Orton, Cody Rhodes thing. It just should have stayed those two. Nobody should have brought into that. But the Aleister Black could have been something. But letting him go was a stupid, stupid thing to do. And they also let go of his wife, Zelina Vega, which I've been following her since she was a tag team with Sarah Stock in TNA. That girl is talented, and she's had good runs in the company, but just never used right and in the last while. And just letting her go was kind of stupid. She's talented, and they were playing off as a couple, which they are, a real-life couple. But letting those two go was stupid. Now, Kairi Sane, she was let go. Now, that was a shock at first because she was in a major angle with her and Asuka. Asuka kind of downplaying her and browbeating her. And, eventually I think she would have overcame it. But it turns out she might have wanted a release. She wanted to go back to Japan and what have you. So hers might have been her own decision. Just my 2 cents on that. Let her finish out the angle. Like if the pay-per-view, it's going to be Asuka versus Io. Have her come out, attack Asuka, have Asuka lose, and Io wins, holds her hands, and then she can go off into the sunset and do her stuff in Stardom or whatever she wants to do in Japan. So I wish her the best. So if she wanted to leave, I kind of had a Kairi crush. But anyway, but that girl's talented, and she will be missed. But if she wanted out, that's her choice. Another shock, very talented, a couple of them. We have Zoe Stark and Alba Fire. Two amazing talented ones here. Very talented. Alba Fire, been following her since NXT UK. This girl can go. And had amazing matches. And then came up, she was at this time part of the Secret Hervis to Chelsea Green, one of the most underrated in the business. Should be world champ someday. But she was amazing in that role. She had some good matches. She showcased her talent, but never to the full extent on the main roster. They should have eventually let her do. But regardless, they didn't. And now she's gone. Zoe Stark, and very talented. I remember watching her in NWA, and we were like, wow, this girl's good. She had this muscular build, but she could wrestle, and what a look to her, and just the talent in the ring. Never given the full ability to really showcase her stuff. And it was this is the part that really pisses me off. She was injured, and they let her go. You're firing people during their injury? Who else was injured? Well, there's somebody else's. I'll go on that in a bit. But they let her go while she was injured. So, a few other ones was Apollo Crews, Andre Chase, and there was also Escobar. He was in AAA at the time. I was a big fan of his. He used to be King Cuerno in Lucha Underground. He was also hurt, and you let him go. That's two people you let so far go while they're in injury. You should keep them at least until they're whatever, and then release them after if you want to. But letting them go now was really kind of tasteless. I think that's a TKO thing. I don't think people say it's Triple H. I think he's taken that on himself. I don't think he would have. He's never fired people injured before, unless he was in charge of the firing of oh gosh, what's his name? Bear with me for a second here while you guys are doing that. Give me a sec. Ridge Holland. Ridge Holland. Ridge Holland was let go. He got it after getting an injury doing a TNA show, not even working for his company. He was lent to TNA, got hurt. Oh, we're going to let you go. That was tasteless. The guy, and yes, he's the guy who hurt Big E. Big E never hold any ill will against him. It's pro wrestling. It was a bad, stupid mistake, but it happened. He was one of the first guys to visit Big E, and Big E actually stated that and never blames him on anything. And yeah, so he was released last year during injury, and now you got so far Zoe Stark, which is supposedly maybe ready to come back, but still on the injury list per se, and then Escobar also released on the injury list, which sucks because his AAA run was starting to look really good on the motorbike and the gimmick he was having down there. But I hate that they lost him now too. And speaking of Big E, going into today's releases, because today's March 2nd, we had a second round of releases. Now, there might be more tonight, but today had some shocking ones. Now, the first two was JC Mateo, a.k.a. Jeff Cobb, and Tongaloa, a.k.a. Camacho, if anybody remembers that. He used to tag with Hunico, I think it was, one of the second Sakaras. So I'm going back in my memory. I have a weird memory of this. And he was kind of like playing off as a Mexican guy. And they brought him down to NXT. They were teaming down here, Hunico and Camacho. He was Samoan. Tongan, sorry. And he wasn't Mexican, but they played him as Mexican. Let him go. He went to New Japan, tagged with his brother, one half of the GOD, which is one of the best tag teams in New Japan, which they never played on that in WWE while they were there to an extent. So yeah, two of the MTFs, MFTs, whatever you call them, yeah, MFTs are gone. Cobb and Tongaloa. What's going to happen to them, I don't know. They were kind of in a big storyline too, but I don't understand it. Jeff Cobb is so talented, an Olympian. Letting him go, it's like he's only been there just a little under a year. Tongaloa, stupid release, very talented guy, always liked him. No, he's gone too. So now you get the Tama Tonga and Tala Tonga. He was the tallest guy, Tala. And Tama was one of my favorites, one of the OGs of the Bullet Club. Maybe put him with Finn, I'm hoping. That'd be a good way to do it. So that was just shock, those two. But then this one, and this goes on to the Big E, as I was talking earlier. I'm going to read this as it was written. Just announced, and this was earlier, Fightful Select reported that Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston have mutually parted ways with WWE. The New Day, of course, being one of the most decorated teams in WWE history, 12 tag team title reigns, including a WWF championship run for Kofi Kingston. What? You let New Day go? Now, mind you, Xavier's been hurt. Now, another one. What the? Xavier, he was hurt. You let him go while he's hurt. You asshats. That's so distasteful. This guy gave his body to this industry because he's hurt. And it's not the first time he's been hurt. Xavier, so talented. Up, down, down. Huge fan of that show. Him and oh gosh, a fellow Canadian. I think he still does it. He was Tyler Breeze. He's still one of his big, and many others on Up, Down, Down. He's had AJ Styles on there. Many of people on Up, Down, Down. But okay, now they weren't fired though. They mutually parted ways. So from what I hear, again, it's only what the internet's reporting, is supposedly they signed a contract last year, really good contract for a multiple year contract. only for TKO to come back to them and say, we're reworking contracts, so we're going to have to give you less. They're like, no, why should we take less? And deservedly so. They're veterans. And so they opted out. They're like, no, just let us out of our contracts. So they want to try free agency. And let me run down the part that really pisses me off. Kofi Kingston. I'm a huge fan of Kofi Kingston. Let me show you something. Actually, yeah, I'm gonna get something. This is unplanned. Give me a second here. Ah, my bike helmet. I gotta get an e-bike soon. This is relevant. I swear. Just give me a second here. Many years ago, I was watching a match on Raw when the New Day were fighting, and Kofi was in the ring at the time, and he was wearing these really cool ass gloves. I'm like, damn, they look cool. And I was like, they'd probably be great for biking. I tweeted him. He got back to me. He let me know. These, hold on, give me a second here. They are Rawlings, I think. I think they are. What's Rawlings? Yeah, these are the gloves. He had the white pair and a black guy and a white guy with the black gloves. I don't know. But he was so cool to answer me and told me about the gloves. And I'm like, oh, wow, they are. Because if you can wrestle in them, you're going to be active in them. I'm like, they'd probably be great for biking, too. You know, they're good for baseball. They'd be good for biking, you know, gripping when I'm riding. And I like to ride. I want to get an e-bike. So do some off-roading and what have you. But I figured, I want to get it. So these were suggested by Kofi Kingston. Thank you, Kofi. And now Kofi Kingston is an instant Hall of Famer. Straight up, instant Hall of Famer. He's guaranteed Hall of Fame, the career he has. And I'm going to give you a rundown. And no offense to Big E or Xavier, they're great in their own right. I mean, I was a huge Big E fan as a champ. I thought his run was so misused. And sadly, he had to retire, which sucked. Because Big E was one of my favorites of the New Day. Just his personality and his story. I used to love their podcast, the New Day's podcast. And Big E would talk as himself. And I get emotional thinking about it. Goosebumps. Like such an emotional human being. Like when Brody Lee died, he was crying a lot. And it's one of his close friends. And he's just such an emotional human. And then they had that episode where they talked about mental health. And Big E talked about his coaches, how his football coaches helped him, and how he suffered with depression, and stuff, and how he overcame it. And look at him now. The guy's jacked and everything, but he's still so lack of confidence sometimes. And he inspired me. Big E inspired me in such a way. I'm getting emotional. I'm going to cry. But I was a huge Big E fan. As champ, his run wasn't good enough. Not going to go there. Kofi, his run was too short too. Let's not go on about that. But let's read up. Kofi Kingston, run 1 at WrestleMania 35, becoming the first African-born WWE champion. That loss to Brock was stupid. It was too quick. I hated it, and it was too short. But anyway, he was a 16-time tag team champion who holds the record for the most tag team championship reigns in WWE history, including Raw and SmackDown titles with the New Day, Big E, and Xavier Woods. He's a 4-time Intercontinental Champion, 3-time United States Champion, milestone Triple Crown and Grand Slam Champion. Accomplished the 30th Triple Crown and 20th Grand Slam in WWE history. Also, the longest reigning tag team champion, held the WWE Raw Championship for 483 days with the New Day. He's also recognized for his longevity with the company, having signed a multi-year deal in 2026. And clearly they were going to revoke that or do something about that. And the fact that they didn't show Kofi the respect that he deserved and let him keep his money, he deserved it. The man is a future Hall of Famer. And if you hear him talk, he just seems like a generally cool, nice guy, too. They all do. They all, like I said, I follow their podcast. Big E seemed to be the biggest heart I've ever met. Or at least I've seen. I'd never met them. Would have loved to sit and talk with Big E. He seemed like a genuinely nice guy. But they all did. And Kofi seemed like the kind of guy you can just sit and shoot the breeze with. And, yeah, I was so shocked on that. Especially Kofi. But Xavier, letting them go. Hard workers. New Day. I don't know. That one was a shock to me. Because Kofi deserved more respect than that, in my opinion. And that's a sad day for me. I was a huge Kofi fan, loved Kofi Mania, thought it was too quick. Um, and I don't know. I don't know. It just, that was a weird one. But they didn't get fired. They wanted out of their contract, supposedly. So I don't know the whole story about it. We're just going on what the internet says. We don't know what about the internet. It's so right. No, not real. But so yeah, that's today's firings, and there could be more after I'm done recording this. There might be new names let go, but as of now, that's the people that have been let go. So some NXT. That's not shocking. Some of the ones that go there, I don't. There's trust me. There's a lot of names that could have been let go over there, and I hate everybody losing their job. Even if I'm not a fan of them as a wrestler, I hate them losing their job. Andre Chase with Chase EU, whatever you call it. They were a good group. He's a very talented worker. So now there's rumors. Who's going back to where? Who's going where? Nikki Cross needs to go somewhere. She was underutilized in the end. Never got to wrestle a match while she was at the Y6. I thought that was stupid. Bo might go back to retiring again. He came out of retirement just for this, so I don't know if he'll stick with it. Excuse me. Dexter Lumis, Joe Gracie, I can see those guys ending up in TNA. He did a video with India Hartwell recently, Dexter Lumis, cutting his locks and the beard, just having the mustache. I was like, ooh, so he's coming back eventually. Joe Gacy, so talented. Supposedly they don't like dark characters. That's stupid. Joe Gacy could have been great on his own. Excuse me. Eric Rowan came back just for this, I think. He did some AEW stuff, but I don't know if he wants to come back. I don't know. We'll wait and see. Kairi Sane's going back to Japan, so she might do Stardom or whatever. I don't know. Aleister Black, some people say, I know he might go back to AEW, but some people said he won't. You know what? Let him go back there. Let him tag with Brody and Buddy again. If Buddy can go back. I'm a huge Buddy fan. Please come back, Buddy. Quickly heal. It's been hard with his injury. It's like, oh, man is so talented. Unlucky too, Rhea. But no, they're awesome. But yeah, I hope he comes back soon. And then reunite them. And then maybe you can break them up and they go on their own way. But he come back. He didn't really leave on bad terms with AEW. Fans are jealous. He didn't want to lose. That's all conjecture, hearsay. I don't know how much real that is. Let him and his wife go. Because, she could join their women's division there. Zelina's talented. So, Zoe Stark, who knows? Alba Fire, who knows? Kofi and Xavier? I don't know. Apollo, Andrade, all those guys. Not Andrade, Andre. Tongaloa, maybe back to New Japan. Jeff Cobb needs to go AEW. He needs to be hired by Samoa Joe, and we got to have that Samoa Joe Jeff Cobb match. That's a dream match. And Xavier and Kofi need to come in as a team. Have them face off against Christian and Edge, and give us the dream match of the Young Bucks and Xavier and Kofi. The other one is, of course, the Usos, which I want to see. I wanted that for years. Usos, Young Bucks. But we can have Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston, the other greatest tag team. You won't have Big E with them, which sucks. But damn, I'm getting goosebumps. Them and the Young Bucks. Oh. And he's good friends. Xavier's good friends with Kenny Omega. So, and the Bucks, I think. They've done some interactions on the game cons and stuff. So I can see that happening. I hope so. And Kofi can do singles runs while he's there too. So can Xavier. So, he can just be Consequentious Creed again. But yeah. Kofi is the biggest shock out of everybody for me. Oh, I hate some of these people letting go, though. The YS6 was never used proper. They could have did so much more with that. And Nikki should have been competing in the women's division all the time. And Alexa should have been part of it. As much as she's doing great with Charlotte, she should have been part of that as well. But yeah, the biggest one today was Xavier and Kofi. One of the greatest tag teams in modern history, up there with Usos, Bucks. They're one of the great teams, easily mentioned there. So, and the fact that the company they were trying to downplay their contract according to the internet, bullshit. Excuse my language, but it is. You should have give them what they deserve. And yeah, they haven't been done much on TV in a while. That's the writer's fault. You should have find something for them. They're talented. Xavier's hurt. You've seen Kofi doing stuff on. You could have did more with him, but I think they were gonna do a Javon Evans thing. He was kind of talking to Evans in the backstage, kind of getting him to join the New Day. They kind of dropped that, so I thought that was stupid. That could have been something. That could have been amazing. Imagine the Javon Evans Kofi match, or Kofi tagging with Javon Evans. Oof, because Xavier's still hurt. You could have did a lot with that. But anyway, I don't run TKO. They're idiots. They have no idea what they're doing with this company. They really don't. Ticket prices are so exorbitantly overpriced. Nobody could afford it. I know of people that end up getting $100 tickets at Mania because they waited till literally last day. They were like $3,400 originally, brought down to $100 because they had to get rid of them for the last day, literally. So it was like, wow. Just wait till the last day to go to Mania. Oh, excuse me. But yeah, they're overpricing tickets, screwing the fans. They don't care about the fans anymore. And showing some of these cuts, supposedly the Alistair and the Wyatt Six, they don't like dark characters. Then you're idiots. You don't understand pro wrestling. The Undertaker, one of the most popular characters in the history of the industry, was a dark horror character. We don't like dark characters. You're an idiot. This is not sports. This is not straight sport where everybody's has to be MMA guy and blah 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 blah. No, you're idiots. You're idiots. Just like, look, you brought Pat McAfee in the corner, which ruined that main event night 1 of WrestleMania. That was stupid. So, but anyway, that's my 2 cents. This is live because I just wanted to get this out here, pure from the heart. If anybody else is watching this as a wrestling fan, and you guys are in entertainment, like I'm also in the filming industry, photography, get a hold of me. I like to do a monthly talking segment, maybe time a month segment talking about pro wrestling. And I know some people here in the filming industry, you guys know who you are, that love pro wrestling too. So let's get a group of us together, start talking about pro wrestling. I believe we could turn this into something. We can make some money out of it too. But it's my passion. Always has been my passion, always will be my passion. So, hey brother, I see Mike, my buddy. Mike, if you, by the way, if anybody doesn't get, I used to be a guy on his podcast. He's the one who brought me into podcasting. Mike, the Comic Relief Crusader. Go check his channel out. He's in the comments right there. I'm not reading it, Mike. Sorry. I have it on the side. It's hard to read while I'm doing this. But my brother from another mother, the Comic Relief Crusader, Mike, love that guy. Go check out his channel, the Comic Relief Crusader. Definitely subscribe to that guy. Amazing. And he got me into podcasting. I've known this guy, God, 30 years now. Back in radio. So, but he's the reason I'm here in front of this camera, on this mic. And getting back to it, too. He checks on me once in a while. Tries to bring me on the show. Tries to get me inspired. He brings me back on his show, and he looks after me. So, check him out. Check out his channel. Subscribe, like it, share. As for me, like I said, if anybody else in the wrestling industry, you guys know who you are. There's some local New Brunswickers here that are in the filming industry that love wrestling too. Give me a chance. I love my wrestling. I could be an announcer. I could be a manager. I could be stuff. I could be whatever. I need to be involved in wrestling. My knowledge of wrestling is crazy, stupid, weird. I love pro wrestling. I trained as a pro wrestler for a while. Yeah. So, exactly. Acknowledge his existence. I know you exist. I just couldn't read it. So yeah, sorry, brother. But yeah, check that man out. He's a good man. He's my brother. So from another mother. But yeah, like I said, this is shocking. The wrestling world is kind of like scratching its head, like Kofi Kingston. And I'm sorry, but I'm not even talking bad about Xavier. I'm big fan of Up Up Down Down. It's just Kofi is. There was Big E, which was my all-time fave. Just emotionally, if you listen to Big E talk as him as a person, I try not to cry. He's such a pure human being. And people are like, you said Jack Mussett. No, he's a good soul. When you hear him talk, the way he talked about Brody when he died, and the way he talked about the episode about his mental health, it's like how his coaches helped him, and he was suicidal, and just many other things, and he overcame so much. And you're like, how is this guy so down on himself? He's so big and muscular and funny, and but he has a side that was so. And I'm like, I'm broken too. I can see that, and he inspires me to be better. So, thank you, Biggie. I don't doubt he's listening to this, but and Xavier, I remember watching him back in TNA, Consequences Creed, with the boxer shorts and stuff, and then AJ helped get him into WWE, and what a career he's had in this company. I mean, sure, there's been some stuff he did. Not gonna lie, I wish I was in that place, but anyway. But his gaming channel, he's got a good gaming channel, up, down, down. Haven't watched it in a while, but I haven't watched much of wrestling in a while, or watch video game stuff in a while, except for a couple channels. But his stuff, like the King of the Ring and other stuff he's done, and his heel run has been good. But no offense to Big E or Xavier, Kofi is just that next level. Kofi was going on 20 years, I think next year, almost. And he's been there for years. Letting him go was a stupid mistake. You should have let him and Xavier have their contracts. And I guess as a fan, we're going to get to see, maybe, hopefully, them in about 90 days showing up on a Raw or a Dynamite. And bam, we get the Young Bucks versus Kofi and Xavier, or Creed, Austin Creed. So I'm looking forward to it. A dream match. Yeah. So that's about the letting goes. TKO, you suck. You don't know how to run pro wrestling. Hope somebody else. Well, besides the Saudis, I don't want that either. No offense. It's a North American company. Keep it in North America. They would not do good, I think. So we have a North American company that needs to buy it. If anybody rich out there wants to help me buy WWE, I could be a co-booker. We could get other people co-booking the company. No judge, wink, wink. And, bring it back to what it used to be. Pro wrestling, doing house shows. And sure, it'll make money, but not hand over fist money. Over the caring of the fans. That's something that goes too much nowadays. Too many company, let's talk about, RAM, GPUs, CPUs. Hand over fist, making ridiculous amounts of money at the cost of giving lower amounts of products, lower costs to the fans, the purchasers, the consumer. We don't care about the consumer. Jack the prices up so the consumer, only the rich can afford it. Same with computer parts, same with wrestling fans. Only the rich can go to a ringside ticket now. So it's ridiculous and disgusting. And this is just more business bullshit, lowering their contract of Xavier and Kofi, two hard workers to that company. Xavier's hurt, for bloody sakes. I'm trying not to swear too much. Letting a guy go that's still on the injury list, that's BS. So, with that being said, thank you for tuning in, everybody. And this was just, it's about over a half hour, but I just wanted to talk about this, the firings and what have you. Will this be a full-time thing? Not necessarily. But like I said, that guy, Comic Relief Crusader, go subscribe to him. He said hi in the room. That's a brother from another mother. I did acknowledge you, Mike. I did. So, are you still there? You're probably there. Okay, I think he's there now. So, he's there now. Okay, that's my brother from another mother. But, love that guy. Go subscribe to his channel. Seriously. I'll probably be back on his show eventually if he ever wants me on there again when I get some free time. But it's just today I was too passionate not to talk about this. So, anyway, thank you for tuning in, everybody. And yeah, that's all. I am out of here. Peace.